Through the video, we will hear his sermon today. Shall we give a big round of applause to our international president?
Hello, dear brothers and sisters. It's been a very long time. I haven't given any sermons on the video for about 2 months. During that time, members of the Cheongbokgung have been working hard on the Providence. 172 American clergy have visited Cheongbokgung, and as you can see in front of Cheongbokgung, there are now statues of the 4 great saints. True Father was very happy about all of those things. I also heard that students from Seoul National University who study religion visited and spent a good time at the Cheongbokgung.
종교학 공부하는 학생들도 방문하면서 아주 좋은 시간을 보냈다고 많이 들었습니다. 저희들은
As you know, we came from Las Vegas to Korea following True Parents. True Parents are working in Korea now. I truly feel very much ashamed and sorry while I am attending True Parents. Also, I realize I really have a heart of repentance because I cannot attend True Parents truly enough.
우리는 얼마나 정말로 이성적으로 부모님 모시지 못하니까 너무나 회개스러운 마음도 많이 생깁니다. 오늘은
Today, I will not talk about that topic, but I prepared a sermon with the title of Absolute Love.
절대적인 사랑에 대해서 설교 말씀을 준비했습니다.
Today's main content of my sermon is about the 26th verse of chapter 14 of the Gospel of Luke. Let's read that together. If anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother, his wife and children, his brothers and sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. Here, Jesus used a very strong expression. Let's analyze this quote closely. At that time, Jesus told people to hate their parents, the parents who raised them. Hate your wife, the wife that you love. Hate your children. Hate your siblings. If you want to become my disciple, you have to hate your own life and follow me. Jesus said.
너 목숨까지 미워하면서 나를 따라야 된다. 이렇게 말씀하셨습니다. 그는
We tend to think that Jesus talked about good things like love your neighbor as you love your own body. However, Jesus was actually a very strong person historically. If we read the Bible carefully, we can find strong characteristics of Jesus. And we can find that Jesus lived with an absolute standard. Jesus is the one really like True Parents. The Christ lives with such a standard.
정말로 참 아버님 같은 그리스도는 이런 기준을 삽니다. 우리는 여기에서 우리는 히라버로 보게 되면은 초기 기독교들이
When Christians in the early days saw the Bible quote of the 26th verse of chapter 14 of Luke, hate in classical Greek language is miseo. In the Korean language, hate could be a very strong expression. But in some way, it could also be soft or mild. For example, a little child says to his mother, I hate you, mom, miwo. However, the expression miseo in the Greek is actually much stronger. This word means hatred, abhorrence, detesting. It means to hate extremely. Therefore, 2,000 years ago, with the background of Jerusalem, it was an extreme word for not only the Jewish people, but also the Greeks who were next to them. Looking at this content, while I was following True Father, I really feel a lot about this.
아버님 보면서
As I see True Father, I can know what kind of person Jesus
정말
was.
우리가 이미 좌의
Jesus was not like the Hollywood actors with a soft smile, soft voice, long blonde hair, and blue eyes, as we have seen in the imaginary world of movies. Jesus was really a revolutionist.
헐리우드 배우처럼 생기신 이런
He was the one who began and led a revolution. He was a revolutionist, and he brought forth the wrath of God.
예수님 말씀하신 것처럼 나는
As Jesus said,
만들기 위해서
"Do not suppose that I have come to bring peace to the earth.
이런 내용들
I did not come to bring peace, but a sword,"
예수님 어떤 분인지 확실해 봅니다.
as we read in the Gospel of Matthew 10:34. Jesus also said,
이런 말씀은요.
"Follow me, and let the dead bury their own dead."
현대 시대에서 어떤
Matthew 8:22. 2,000 years ago.
그렇게 말하면은
If someone said such a thing to you when your parents passed away at this time in history, it would be very rude. I cannot imagine any teacher or leader or master telling that to their disciples or their students, but Jesus said so. And today, True Father says so. If you look at the testimony of Nan Young Moon, the world chairman of Women's Federation for World Peace, she was in Alaska with True Father just before the ascension of her mother. And she heard that her mother was in critical condition. She thought that she would report to True Father and then return to Korea. But True Father ordered, "Stay next to me," just as Jesus said. However, True Father didn't give any particular order or direction to her, but was on the boat, on the ocean, all day, for several days. While she was doing this, her mother passed away. So she started to wonder why True Father seized her like this, and she was not able to go and see her mother during the last moments of her mother's life. Then, of course, after that, she was appointed to an important position by True Father. How high is the standard of Jesus, the Christ? How high is the passion of Christ? We can think and feel our own situation through such Bible stories and quotations that we read ourselves.
또 그리스도의 그 열정이 얼마나 높은지 우리는 이 구절들과 이런 스토리들에서 살펴보고 느낄 수 있습니다. 저는 우리는 아버님을 모시고
When we attend True Father, there are many cases that our body doesn't want to follow.
몸이 따라
True Father managed 22 hours of Hundoke, and then he took a 1-hour rest, and again he managed another Hundoke. Immediately after that, he went on a boat for more than 12 hours. And immediately after that, he went on a helicopter to go to another place. And as soon as he arrived, he held a meeting. Those who attend and follow True Parents almost fainted. Actually, because I attend True Father like that, I realized that I cannot look back on myself enough, because I have to follow completely with True Father how he moves, when and in what moment he acts. So I could not look back on myself and my body, and my body could not continuously follow him. And then I became sick, physically sick. Once I recovered, I really felt how much I cannot follow True Parents satisfactorily. Especially right now, True Father has a problem with his legs. His legs are in the process of recovering, and he is not supposed to stand up now because his legs are actually in a cast. However, just recently he spoke for 3 hours at Sun Moon University.
무리하시면서
He was sweating
땀을 온 몸에 딱 흘리시면서
with his whole body
UPF
while he was speaking.
행사를 꼭 가셔야 된다고
On that day,
하시면서
True Father said
훈독회
that
마치면서
he had to go to a UPF event.
선문대로 가셨는데요. 저희들은
So as soon as he completed Hundoke, he rushed
이제 아주
to
중요한
Sunmoon
말씀을 하셔야
University.
된다고 그러한
And he
말씀을
left
하시면서 가셨어요.
saying that he had a very important word.
이 행사는
to give at that
아버지께서
event.
김일성 만나신 지
This event was for the 20th year anniversary of True Parents visiting Kim Il-sung,
전에 아버님께서
former leader of North
만나시고
Korea.
또 특별한 계획도 만드시고
20 years ago, True Father met Kim Il-sung,
관계도 맺으시고
and together made a special plan, and they formed a brotherhood relationship.
그러한 테마로
True Father did things that no one in Korean history could do. With that theme, many peace ambassadors and other people gathered there. True Father said that he had to give a very important word when he went there. This is to the UPF meeting. Then, after the welcoming address and the introduction of True Parents, True Father came up to the podium and started talking about sexual organs, absolute sex, so to speak. And he even used indecent expressions from the typical social point of view. And yet he didn't say even one word regarding the reunification of North and South. When True Father speaks this kind of shocking content, and not only at this event, but also at all other official events, and if we look into our own heart, we may feel ashamed about it. I think. However, on that day, as I was watching True Father, if you look at the history of Christianity, as you know, there was Martin Luther who started the Protestant Reformation in Christianity. He completely changed Europe, and with a new revolution, started Protestantism that continues through the present day in America. You may know Martin Luther, but there is a hidden story about him which many people do not know. Martin Luther originally wrote a letter in German, and if you look at the official print in German, there are many strong, indecent, you can say, even indecent, and even dirty expressions of curses. There are so many of them. When Martin Luther was counseling, he started as a priest and then later became a pastor. And when he gave spiritual counsel with Christians, he educated them to use curses extravagantly, strong words. When facing Satan, he said that they have to be able to shoot the worst curses that they can imagine to Satan. Also, if you look at the letters of Martin Luther, and he was attacking the Roman Catholic Pope and the Catholic organization as a whole, which had become corrupted and very fallen at that time in history. And therefore, Luther actually cursed them because Satan had entered them. As part of the Luther school says, it was the Luther theology to repel Satan through the use of curses.
그러면서 사탄이가 너희들 들어갔으니까 이제 욕하는 거였는데 그 욕을 통하면서 사탄을 물리치는 이제 신학이라고 사람들이 많이 말합니다. 어떤 루사 학자들이 그렇게 말합니다. 여러분 아시다시피 섭리 역사에서
Brothers and sisters, as you know, Martin Luther is the central theologian who prepared for the true parents to come to the earth in providential history. He was the core central figure who made the worldwide foundation of Christianity in order for the true parents, the Lord of the Second Advent, to arrive. And yet that central figure spoke very strong curses, extreme words, with shocking contents if we think of it as ordinary people. When True Father speaks shocking contents in such official events,
특별히
Sometimes I think True Father may be using the same method that Luther used.
아주
True Father spoke especially strongly to women.
강하게 말하시는
He spoke cursing strongly
또 어쨌든
and using
신식이
very strong
강하게
expressions regarding the sexual organs.
아주 강한 표현도 쓰시는
When you see that, you have to think from God's shoes, God's point of view.
하나님 입장 생각해 보세요.
The sexual organ is the place that Satan obtained
제일로 큰
the biggest victory in the fallen history.
하나님의 역사에서 얻었던
Therefore, from the point of view of God,
하나님에게
that is the highest priority place that he has to knock Satan out of.
곳입니다. 첫 자리입니다.
The highest priority place.
아버님께서 그러한
Therefore, True Father uses that method of cursing
생각으로 배경으로
with such a theological thought and background.
강한 어쨌든
When True Father uses very indecent expressions from the ordinary person's point of view, and he makes people receive a big shock, he is using these curses to repel Satan, I believe.
않겠시겠느냐라고 이제 생각이 많이 듭니다. 예, 저는 불교를 또 공부했을 때
When I studied Buddhism, especially Zen Buddhism, there are many stories like that. One Buddhist monk was trying to become spiritually awakened, and so he asked an aged elder monk what the mercy of Buddha is.
부처의 마음이 무엇입니까?
It contains a question for Buddhist meditation and a lot of philosophical contents.
그러한 철학적인 내용들도
The
많이
aged monk answered,
스님이 그렇게
Buddha is waste.
어쨌든 노 스님이
Yeah? Toilet waste. In another argument,
똥이다.
the aged monk mentioned the Buddhist monk is a woman.
어쨌든 어떤 다른
Now, you may think that this monk is very strange.
승려는
You may ask, is he really spiritually awakened, or maybe he's just senile, losing his mind.
이상하다. 정말 깨 계시는 분인가? 아니면 그냥 치매 당하신 분인가?라고 생각할 수 있습니다. 근데 그 깨달음의 세계에서
In the spiritually awakened world,
이
those
깨달으셨던
awakened monks
스님들이 이제 자기
do give extreme words
어쨌든 아주
to their disciples in order for those disciples to be awakened.
대사님도
One famous great Buddhist priest randomly would hit his disciples with a cudgel, a club, when they were asking questions. It's not because he was upset with them, but it was to bring enlightenment to them.
모든 학생들한테 그
He used the fastest way
맞는 방법을 쓰는
to
그런
make them wake up,
빨리 깨달을 수 있는 방법을 쓰는
which is when he hit his disciples. There is such a
그런
history.
내용들 봐도
This practice has several hundred years of history, actually.
우리는 비행기 이제 검문들부터 여성
I start thinking about True Father when I hear a story like this.
감부님하고 중국
One time we were moving from Gyomondo Island to Yosu by helicopter. I was thinking about China and with one leader talking about this. And Father was sitting right next to me and he said, China is not a problem. And all of a sudden, Father started talking about the sexual organs. And he started talking about numbers on his fingers. This non-member who was a leader in the secular world may have asked how this relates to China. And as I see Father, he does this to awaken those, just as the esteemed Buddhist monks do. A shock. He's giving a shock. I looked into it while sitting next to him and I started thinking about what I had learned and understood in the past. Especially when this time the 172 American clergy came to Korea, they took a nationwide tour and testified to many people about True Parents. Over a period of 2 weeks, they left their own churches and their responsibilities in America, they left them behind and they came to Korea. Then they followed the order that True Parents gave them 1 week in advance. In other words, only 1 week preparation to come to Korea. This is not an ordinary thing. Then True Parents themselves spent 3 weeks here in Korea and then they went back to Las Vegas, and then Father mentioned that we have to give education to these ministers, these clergy. So he ordered the clergy to gather in Las Vegas again.
물론 한두 번 보지 않았.
So they did. They came, they gathered and participated in Hundoke, but on that day, Father got very angry, and he stood up and he threw books, and he even hit people on their cheeks. And of course, it hasn't been only once or twice that Father has done this, that I have seen this, but because I have been hit and scolded many times myself, and I can say that I was even a bit used to it. But I didn't know how our members think. I don't know how our members think, but every time I see True Father do it to someone in front of me, even though I personally didn't get hit or scolded, when I see someone next to me get hit and scolded, I always feel like I was getting hit repeatedly. Then after Hundoke, I feel very tired, very, very tired, and I sometimes wonder why True Father did that today. Of course. I was very nervous then in this situation with these American clergy. In the Hundoke room, I couldn't even show any expression.
미국 사람들이 한국 사람과 달리
We have to remember, Americans are different from Koreans. When True Father gets upset and he stands up, all the Koreans look down. Oriental people do this very well. However, in this kind of case, Americans look up. They don't look down. And then because they are staring at True Father, that becomes a situation where he gets even more angry. As I was looking at the situation, books were flying. I was sitting in the front. And so all the clergy were looking at me. And with their eyes, they're saying, "Can you please help me out here?" They said, "We went to your country and we have toured around for your father for 3 weeks. The work at our own church piles up, but I came here. And yet, there's not even one word of thanks for me coming here." True Father even cursed very strongly on that day. There was an atmosphere, and we all got hit repeatedly on that day. After that event, I met these American clergy. In Korea, there is Oriental culture and vertical relationships, so Koreans may understand this kind of activity our Father is doing. In this day and age, however, even great religious leaders and politicians, or one of the great powerful people, even they may not do this kind of way. Even in Korean society, this kind of thing that Father is doing may not happen, even though Koreans understand it. However, in American society, this is something almost impossible to understand. Relationships in America are completely horizontal. And because True Father really cursed on that day, actually I became very worried whether any of the clergy would start complaining while True Father was thrusting his fist in their face. However, after the clergy had seriously talked about it, they understood True Father's urgent providential timetable and True Father's passionate shimjong. And True Father has things that he must absolutely get done for God. Some clergy know True Father's characteristics very well. And they thought about Jesus. They thought about Jesus from Galilee going to the Jordan River, and then from the Jordan River to this city, and then from this city to another city, and from that city to somewhere else, and on and on and on. All of this was the middle of the holy history in the Bible of Jesus moving around urgently and suddenly ordering his disciples to go here and there. And suddenly he gave extreme words, as we can read in the Bible. When we look at this kind of life of these disciples, some of them thought Jesus may have done these things this way too, and they were matured clergy who think this way, and I truly appreciated that they could understand. However, as I follow True Father, and I speak like this, when we were headed to Cheonjeong-gun for Gyeonmondo, from Gyeonmondo Island with a guest in the helicopter. True Father was right next to me, and I spoke to the guests like this. When I meet people, I speak like this. I say, my Father is not just a human being. My Father is the living God. The living God. He transcends the limitations that human beings cannot go beyond. When we try to follow True Father, we collapse. I don't know how great the staff is attending True Father, looking at the fact that they take turns to attend True Father because True Father transcends the limitations of all humankind. If we don't take good care of our mind and body well in this kind of situation, we may misunderstand True Father, and we may even resent True Father. There may come much temptation to even have a negative heart toward the True Father. As we saw in the 26th verse of the chapter 14 of Luke, Jesus gave extreme words and demanded absolute love from his disciples. Jesus didn't do so in order to control his disciples as he wished or to take advantage of them, but he did this to save them and to save all of us, in order to cut our relationship with Satan and to make instead a relationship with God, because the Christ is the only way to become connected with God. He could demand absolute love. I say that I have attended and followed True Father, but we are actually really struggling and toiling to do so. We attend True Father all day long. We have to please him all day long. And even though we hear scolding all day long, the next moment we have to try to please him, smile, and say thank you. And it's not only once or twice we have that kind of day. It's repeating continuously, again and again, day after day. When we look at this fact, we really have to consider how much we truly love God. How much do we love God? We say that we love God. But True Father said, you cannot like me, you must love me. Or he said, you must love me as much as I love God. As you know, when True Father holds Hundoke for over 3 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours, we are already exhausted and tired. If Hundoke continues until after 12 o'clock noon, we are already so tired and starting to think to go home, and we hope that it ends soon. When we look at this, even if we say that we want to love God forever, but it is even difficult to love for only 6 hours, then we cannot say that we really love God. It may be a strong expression to say this, but I feel I really hate God sometimes. It's difficult and annoying to spend at most even 6 hours with God, especially when True Father held Hundoke for 22 hours and 30 minutes. We were all exhausted. And I looked at the faces of the attendants, and they were completely pale. One day, that was only one day. Just to love God for one day is so difficult. We honestly don't really love God. I rather have to say I hate God more than love. I look at this realistically through Shimjang. When I am sick and when I look at myself, True Father gave me really a huge responsibility. And beside True Father, I continue to challenge, and I try to win over this kind of training that True Father gives me. There is nothing more precious than this, I believe. Through this, not only my development and growth, but also it is education about who the Christ is. And when the living God, the Christ who has a physical body, walks around in this world, what kind of person he is. We really look at this with our eyes and we experience it together. And it's not easy, but It is important and great training.
쉽지는 않지만요.
I know.
아주
Brothers and sisters,
정말로 중요한과 감사한 훈련이라고 봅니다. 여러분 이 개월 동안에
brothers and sisters, I was feeling the lack of something while I couldn't give a sermon on the video for the past 2 months.
아쉬움이 많았었는데
This time, together with all of you, we are able to offer service
또 똑같은
and with the same heart
우리는 그 절대적인
that the absolute love that Jesus demanded, that Christ demanded, and the true parents demand of us.
사랑을 오늘
I hope you practice that love during these service hours today.
그러면은 마지막으로 아버님
In the end, we conclude with True Father's word.
다 같이 기도하시겠습니다.
From God's point of view,
하나님
no matter how good-looking or bad-looking a person may be, each human being is a precious existence. However, needless to say, if he is lacking enlightenment, and every time he is taught he still cannot do well, God's mind becomes impatient. At that time, a whip will strike him, though reluctantly. Does it strike as if to say, "Be ruined"? It will not be God if it strikes to be ruined. Even if it hits, it has to hit under the standard of loving or be saved. Although God is greater and greater love than human parents, does it feel good when hitting human beings? No. If a child faces trial and pain, when God looks at it, God feels more pain than that child. Thus the child has to know that 심정 of God, and he has to appreciate even that he was hit. This is the heart connection for which heaven searches the human world and appears until now. 아주.
예, 말씀 주신 시장님께 감사의 박수를 올리겠습니다.
Please give big applause to the national president, and I offer prayer.
고맙고 감사하신 하나님 아버지, 저희들을 참
Beloved Heavenly
사랑의
Father,
산으로 불러주시어
we